So we've got the brand new Radical 2025. You can see it coming, definitely. Super vibrant look to it. We're going to look at the MP and the Pro for these two because they're very good players. There are different weights in the range. You've obviously got the Team as well, MPL, and the Team L. And there's also an Elite right down, super low weight. So I'm going to start with the MP. This is 300 grams. The Radical is all about kind of versatility they talk about. Very easy to play with. Obviously you tend to play with heavier rackets, so it'd be interesting to see whether you prefer the lighter whippiness of the MP or the stability of the Pro.
Okay. Yep.
Interestingly, the feedback you're kind of given is that even though the MP is maybe lighter than what you're normally used to, preferring that to the Pro. Why is that?
This is a little bit more, you can move it quite easily in your hand. In terms of like the little kind of drop shots or slices or just kind of absorbing pace, I feel like this is quite easy to maneuver in my hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, I prefer this. I mean, there's a big difference, 300 and 315.
Yeah.
Maybe if I could always add 5 grams something to it, but otherwise this feels pretty good.
Nice. So maybe a bit of a platform racket for you then. Where would you maybe add weight?
I'd probably add it at 3 and 9.
Yeah.
Every time I've added a weight to 3 and 9 on the racket, it's felt very good.
It's so much more stable, isn't it? So in terms of the Radical then for you, from the back, where does it sit? You're kind of on a bit of a racket journey, I guess. Other similar spec rackets, you're thinking like Aero 98s or E-Zones, etc. Where does a Radical sit?
I like the Aero 98 a lot. This isn't too far off it.
Yeah.
In terms of the pop that you get off of it, this isn't too far off that.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it.
It's like it doesn't sit as a super controlled racket. That's all it is. It's not a dead frame. You're getting pace from the frame. Yeah. David was talking about it being fairly versatile in the way he was playing. Like, where does it? You mentioned for you, it kind of you're getting power from the frame, but are you getting other benefits and?
Yeah, I think I can be quite playful with it.
Yeah.
My slice felt really good with it as well. So in terms of maneuverability, I could probably vary quite well with it when I was hitting with it. Yeah, okay. For sure.
Nice.
So, nice.
Getting good pace in the ball.
Yeah.
In terms of like all the rackets you've tried, what is the feeling then from the back of the court in terms of your groundies?
Quite a lot of power on the forehand. If any, you could probably hold back a tiny bit with this and still have more than enough on the ball, I think. Yeah.
So in terms of being like fairly like thin beamed and 98, you're still getting that power from the frame.
For sure.
And in terms of like comfort, spin generation, where does it sit for you?
Get good spin on the forehand.
Yeah.
Comfort wise, as I said, on the slice it feels very good. It feels like you can control it really well. I feel like it's pretty good at absorbing pace as well.
Yeah.
Half volleys and stuff like that.
Nice. Obviously you're a player that, you play off the rise a lot, like to feel the ball. Yeah. You feeling like connected in terms of the feel of the ball with the frame? Yeah, definitely. So what would be like the percent like downsides for you of the frame? Where would it not be quite right for you?
As I said, the reason why I think I could add a little bit of weight is that it might feel a little bit, when you're really going for it and accelerating, just a bit shaky. Yeah. But adding that stability on it that's what I had to do to my Aero as well.
Yeah, interesting. So, and they're both similar specs. So it would be, you'd definitely rather use that as a platform rather than the Pros. You want something just a little bit in between.
Yeah. I think I'd prefer this over the Pro. Yeah.
So how was it at the net for you?
I really like it at the net. I feel like you can, as I said before, being able to move your hand very quickly, the racket at the net in this kind of figure of 8 is really, for me, is very important. So if I can volley and come back to the center and feel like I'm not really using a lot of muscle, and it's you can kind of whisk it around. That's what I like, which I can do with this really easily.
That maneuverability. In terms of then stability at stock form at the net, how are you finding that?
It's not shaky. Like occasionally at the back it can be, but it feels pretty solid at impact at the net.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you could see lots of people using that in terms of the way it just stopped.
Yes, I could, for sure. I don't think, I mean, you could definitely use this racket without having to add a lot onto it, 100%.
Okay, let's take you back, hit some serves. Coming off quite big then on the serve.
Yeah, I think more weight, you'd feel it less on your arm, a tiny bit, because it's light, but it does pop off it quite a bit, especially on the flat tee.
It's interesting, you and David both mentioned the power of the frame. The Radical is that kind of middle ground where it's not like the ultimate control, not power. Do you think this version maybe is a little bit more powerful?
I think so, yeah, definitely. It's got natural power to it.
Yeah.
Sure, Radicals, in general, when I was using one when I was younger, I always felt there was a lot of pop on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely on the serve. On the tee one, it comes off very, very big.
So did you prefer the flat or the slice, or what sort of serve would you prefer and hit with that?
You could hit both with it pretty well. I think, as I said, adding some weight to the head would pull your arm through it a bit easier.
Okay, yeah.
Flat serve tee is probably an easier one with this, I think. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Ball.
Yeah.
Looking good. I don't know if it's a bright racket or if it's your game, but you're looking good.
Thank you. Yeah.
What's your thoughts? The Radical, this one being, is it the Pro?
Yeah, this is the Pro. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know Radicals quite well. You're sponsored by Head.
Yeah.
You said you played Sinner with a Radical.
Played Sinner and Draper with a Radical.
Did
yeah.
you? Did you get the W?
I lost both of them. Yeah. I mean, Jackson was a little bit. I mean, yeah. Sinner was I think like 4-4, 4-3, one of those.
Yeah.
A tight match. But yeah, at the time he was just teeing the ball off, and I was just trying to make balls. And but yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of love for this racket.
Yeah.
It brings back good memories, and even just hitting then, it's like it feels like a duck to water a little bit. But yeah, I still love it.
So what is it that kind of makes a Radical for you?
I feel like with the Radical, it's a feeling like you can't miss. I mean, and that's something that I remember picking up for the first time and just picking up again today. Like I had the feeling where I just couldn't miss. Yeah. Where like it's that feeling like no matter how hard or like you kind of mistime it, the ball still goes in. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's why I've always kind of loved it and grew up playing with this racket. So
brings back good memories.
Yeah, really good memories on the junior tour.
So in terms of like, you mentioned a lot of control, you feel like you can't miss. Like shot making's easy with it?
Yeah, I think my game, like especially because I lived in France, was brought up on, playing a little bit like a French player, very, like timing on both wings, being very good, and making a lot of balls, pulling out angles. So that's kind of the way that I've been brought up to play, and this racket, I mean, it's perfect for that. Because I've never been, a 6'5" big server. Yeah. So I've always enjoyed kind of outmaneuvering people. And
interesting.
Yeah, and that this racket is so good for it.
It's very versatile. It's not maybe the most powerful frame in the world. It's not maybe the most spin-friendly frame in the world, but it's a package that's super versatile, right?
Yeah, and I've always thought it's a very all-round racket.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
It doesn't excel at, as you said, like speed or spin, but every kind of box is quite high, and but just very consistent. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a very popular racket on the tour as well. I mean, you're going to see like, this paint job popping up everywhere. You're just going to see, you're going to notice all these bright red rackets. But yeah, I mean, I really like the paint job. I know people might hate it, so I reckon probably like a Marmite, where you either love it or you hate it. But for me, I love it. I think it looks great. It's a bit of a statement,
Have you got to be good to play with a racket that looks like that, then?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's quite out there, isn't
Yeah.
it? But I think if you enjoy the colour and you enjoy the way it plays, I mean, I don't know, that's the main thing, isn't it? You like how it plays, but yeah.
So interestingly, radicals of the past, we've actually got an exclusive radical of ours, which is the Graphene 360. It then went 360 Plus, and then it also went to Auxetic. This is now how it got Auxetic all the way through the frame. Okay, so this is the first time the new radical that you've got Auxetic all the way through. It's called Auxetic 2.0. So before it was just in the frame here, and they've channeled it down all the way through the handle as well. So it's about connected feel. You want to be really connected to what you're feeling. Like David said, it's a versatile racket. You're asking different things of it. You need to know exactly where that ball is on the string bed and have that kind of connected feel when you're playing. So in terms of the Pro versus the MP, I'll guess when you were a kid playing Sinner, it was more the MP or the lighter ones?
Yeah, I had the MP, but I added a little bit of weight. There's a guy that did some racket like customizations, and we worked a little bit together, and he just kind of found a few places where I enjoyed putting the weight just to kind of help with my ball speed and the impact on it. But yeah, I've always played with the MP, just a slightly lighter one. There was a brief moment where I used the Pro, like as I got stronger. But yeah, I feel like now I could use it very easily, the Pro, being a little bit heavier.
Big, strong lad now.
Yeah, I've grown up a little bit, since those days. So.
No, I think that's a really good sum up of the Radical. I mean, it is versatile. You can hit a lot of shots with it. Obviously, you're a great player, but even your club players and improver players, it offers that control. So we talk about like when rackets are kind of 100 square, 16, 19, as you're developing longer, quicker swings, maybe that ball's flying on you a bit. This is definitely in the more controlled category of rackets.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's not like their Prestige or something, which is all about control.
Yeah.
This definitely gives you a bit of pop. It's kind of in that, does lots of things well, I'd say.
I found more so the Pro gave me a bit more pop when I've just tried both.
Yeah.
But I think that would be because of the heavier frame.
Yeah.
It's still, you can still bang the ball pretty well with it.
Yeah.
Like it's lively when you want it to be. But yeah, I'd personally, I mean, it's one of my favourite rackets out on the market.
Yeah. I think that control is achieved. They have this thing called the control pattern. So that means a tighter mains. Obviously, when it's 16, 19, if you have the mains further spread out, still the same string pattern. The actual, where they're drilling holes, if it's wider, you're going to get more power and a higher launch angle. Having a tighter main set is going to make sure as you're hitting the ball, that ball's not flying upwards on you, but it's still more powerful than say an 18, 20 would be. Cool, let's get you to the net, hit a few volleys, see what it's like.
Ah, call me.
In terms of when you're at the net then, when you're looking for a racket that suits you, you mentioned you're a counter puncher.
Yeah.
Do you ever get away from that baseline and move in?
Yeah, it's something I'm developing a lot. I think in the last year or so especially, that when I see, especially like a little cue seeing the racket faces open because I hit the line well, just sending it into the net. And I mean, with this racket as well, it's like so clean and crisp that those volleys they just punch, pretty easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely something that's trying to, adding it into my arsenal now is to get up into the net now and work on the volleys. I mean, even though you just saw that garbage there, that drop volley, but.
You mentioned crisp. That's like kind of put away ability, I guess, is there with the frame. How is it on more touchy-feely shots?
Yeah, I mean, it's not its strong point, but. For me, it's like they're not the volleys I really play around with anyway. I don't really feel as well as maybe like a blade or maybe even like the aero at the moment. But for those high ones, middle ones, even like the low ones that you're pushing back, that's perfect. But yeah, it could also be the player. I mean, my hands aren't.
So your main volley is kind of seeing the racket open coming and just trying to put it away.
Trying to knock off. Shorten those long points. But yeah, and just maybe a serve volley every now and then.
Nice, mixing it up.
Yeah.
If you hit a few overheads for me, see what it's like on the smash.
Ooh.
On serve, overheads, what are you feeling like with the frame?
This one's more powerful than I remember, especially with the overheads, because that came off a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was messing around with it before we started filming and I hit a few serves. And yeah, it's got a bit more heat on it now, which I think is a good thing for the Radical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a bit more live, but still had that like crisp impact where, you know, like the racket's so stable. And that was the thing that I always loved, and still playing with it now, I love it, is it's still so stable and you feel like, you know, the racket is one that you can trust and it feels like an extension of your arm kind of feeling. You know, where there's the rackets on the market where you need to add a little bit of weight to make it, you know, get the stability. But this was, it's good. I like it a lot.
So for you, is it more leaning towards the Pro than the MP now?
Yeah. For me, personally, I prefer the Pro.
And you kind of pick up off the shelf, play with it, no customization.
Yeah, this has been perfect. I like the way this plays. I mean, this is one I'd play with just as it is right now. Because it's still light and whippy enough to, you know, those lower balls that you can whip and, you know, get them up and down. But then it's still got, you know, that weight that you can punch through the court a little bit, and especially with the volleys and smashes, you can still like punch through and feel like you're damaging. So yeah.
The Radical, you won't miss it for 2025. This amazing new colorway. Both pros enjoyed different things about the racket. I think, Shira, you enjoyed the maneuverability of the frame, getting pop from it, maybe tinker around a little bit with the weight of 3 and 9 as he's a pro player, but you'd able to kind of recommend it to a lot of people in stock form.
Yeah, 100%.
And David, you kind of were smiley with the Pro.
Yeah.
Brought back fond memories for you.
Yeah, I did, yeah. Just a lot of good matches in my junior career with this racket.
Yeah.
Against people that are now top players, so
there you go.
So it's good.
So the big thing, I guess, was versatility of the frame. That Radical, in terms of the head silos, isn't the most controlled, maybe like a Prestige would be, and it's not super powerful, and like maybe your Instinct line or something. Like even the Speed is more powerful than the Radical. The Radical sits in that kind of versatility racket. It does a lot of things well, and it's a really nice update with the Auxetic 2.0 going through the handle. I think the feel is a little bit more connected, and both of these play testers mentioned a little bit more power, a little bit more pop. So let us know when you've demoed the racket what you feel like of the frame. They're available to demo here at ATT in Westway. And come down and let us know what you think about the frames. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel so we can support pros like these we have today on their journey to become the best pros they can be.